Welcome to today's Fireside Chat with Jesse. I am joined today by Alistair Canal, Chief Growth Officer at Syndifi. Thanks for joining me, Al.
Oh, Jesse, man, what a pleasure. Happy Friday, brother.
Happy Friday. I mean, I'm assuming by the time this one's airing, it'll be sometime in June. So even nicer weather back east where you're at.
Exactly.
So it'll be even better. So hopefully you're off somewhere nice and warm after this.
That's the goal. That's always the goal.
But no, I appreciate you taking some time to sit down with me today. And Al, for the people who might not have the pleasure of meeting you yet, you mind just kind of giving your background, your career to date, and equipment finance, or I guess even pre-equipment finance?
Yeah, perfect. I'll be happy to. So I'm a new guy to the equipment finance industry. So unlike most that I've met and folks like you who've been really at this for a long time, my career prior to equipment finance was in institutional banking and with private lenders like Bankers Healthcare Group. So that's where I got my start within finance, was at BHG, and now called BHG Financial. And they are a private lender for the healthcare space. And now they're diversified immensely with whom they lend to. But I was their CRO there for quite some time. I worked there on and off for about 8 years. And then from there, I moved to Live Oak Bank, which is an institutional bank down in Wilmington, which is a powerhouse SBA 7A lender. I think they're still the nation's #1 lender. So I had the privilege of working for those guys for quite some time, for several years, and it was a great experience down there. And I also worked on the backside of finance with a compliance firm called Promontory. So that gave me a lot of good insight as to sort of what are the concerns security-wise and regulatory-wise for these institutions that are really regulated by all these governing bodies, right? So it really shined a lot of light with what they go through. So that was great working there for Gene Ludwig's the one who heads up that group. They were, I think, acquired by IBM recently, but so I had great experience there, and then worked at a software company as their interim CRO for a bit to help them launch and exit. They did that successfully. And then I've known Dan, which I met Dan actually at Live Oak while I was there. He came in as a vendor, and we just hit it off really well. And we reconnected, and I considered a privilege to align with him and work on this really cool initiative we got going here with Syndifi. And that's what brought me into the equipment finance space. And I love it. People are great. People are nice. And it's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I met you for the first time, I want to say, at the NIFA event in Long Beach. And then we had the funding conference. So, I mean, obviously you walk into this room, I know you don't have a hard time meeting people just based on your personality. Dan knows people, so I'm sure that helps. But what are your initial thoughts on this industry?
Man, so the first flavor I got for it was at Live Oak, right, where we launched a equipment finance division there. But I didn't really dive deep into a lot of the companies and the organizations until I got in here with Dan at Syndifi. But at these events, you really find an awesome camaraderie and a history that people share for decades, right? It's not like people have known each other for 5, maybe 10 years, maybe 15. It's like, oh no, I've known that guy for 36 years. You're like, you've been in the same industry for 36 years? That's awesome, right? So it's pretty cool. So that was my experience meeting the folks who were at these events. And there's a warmth there, and there's a camaraderie, and I think it's a pretty cool industry, right? When you look at what they're doing, like what all these organizations do that we serve, they're really helping the economy. They're helping businesses thrive and grow and succeed, and providing awesome equipment that is essential for them to grow, and they're passionate about it. And that's what I love. I'm a passionate guy, and as is Dan as well. So when we got to kind of connect with all these folks at these events, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and everyone's really welcoming. Like, people really aren't really guarded. I think the appropriate word is what? Friend petition is what they call competition.
There you go. There you go. I haven't heard of that one before. We learn something new every day, especially on Fireside Chats with Jesse.
Yeah, well, there you go. There you go. Besides fun facts, there might be some other things in there. Just never know. You got to pay attention, I suppose.
And by the way, I want to point out the fire that I got going here for you. I don't know if you can see this or not.
You know what? I wasn't sure if that was a doll when I first saw it or not, but now it makes sense. I see this some more. You even went to that level of detail too. Wow.
Here for you. Yeah. So quick story behind this is these are little parts of my kids are 12. My twins are 12. And about 6 years ago, I'm on a business trip for about a week. Come back, my wife's got this really big smile on her face, and I'm thinking, all right, usually there's a nice greeting, but it's not ear to ear grin with super excitement to see me. It's like, okay, I get it. And she takes my hand, she walks me down to the kids' playroom, and man, I walk down there. There's teepees, fire sets like this, The only thing missing, Jesse, were animatronics from Disney World. And my kid's doing this big, beautiful taping. She goes, look what we got. So I quickly noted, don't take a trip for a week, because she can go order something, get it here in time, set it up, get the kids engaged, so there's nothing I can do about it. So I brought my trips down to 3 days, but that in today's day and age is still not enough, because with Amazon, dude, you can have stuff delivered the same day. So anyway, so that's the story there. Is had no idea we were creating Narnia down in our basement. I actually tried to get rid of those and thought we had, and she brought them out and said, aren't you glad we didn't? Because now you can use them for your fireside chat.
There you go. Brilliant, brilliant.
Absolutely.
Now, I guess my question is, just because maybe I'm petty, or just, what'd you do to return fire? Anything?
Oh, dude, there wasn't much, because when the kids are involved and they're happy, and it's like, look at the fantastic time they're having with their friends.
Oh no, I would just think where it's like, okay, you did this. How do I step it up so when you're out of town next time,
what can I do?
What can I do with the kids to have some fun?
Convertible. I'm thinking a boat. I'm thinking we got all sorts of ideas, because this now has come back. So I'll never live this down. With the respect to this, you needed them. You were going to get rid of these, and if you had, you wouldn't have had such a great fireside chat with Jessie. You got me.
Good for her. Good for her. She's a keeper for sure. I think I'm feeling a boat. I think a boat would be great, even if it's just temporary, just to see what the response would be.
Yeah, sell it in a year. Exactly.
All right, Al. Well, thank you for that. So let's talk Syndifi, if you don't mind. Do you mind just kind of give us some background on the organization?
I'd love to. So Syndifi has been around for a few years. The company was founded by Dan Michaelick, who's the founder of PayNet, and most people know PayNet in this industry. And the purpose of the marketplace, right? So when Dan was looking at solving a problem, he's that serial entrepreneur, the guy who wants to fix things and make things easier, and just really wants to do it for that reason, no other reason. And when he got the idea for Syndifi, he thought to himself, we've got $1 trillion in deals being originated a year. Of that, an estimated 150 to 200 billion being syndicated via email. And we're in 2020 at that point. So he just felt there was a massive problem. So Syndifi was created to help organizations that sell their deals within equipment finance to do it a lot smarter, a lot more efficiently, a lot more securely. And we've really built a great platform, cloud-based, to do that. And it's worked well. We've got some really solid users on the platform. The community's grown to over 300 right now between buyers and sellers. And it just seems to be making life a lot easy for everybody who is involved within the syndication space. So that is the whole purpose behind Syndifi and Dan's mission to do this. And like I said, I'm really excited to be shoulder to shoulder with him as we try to transform this industry and make it better, make it easier and smarter.
Yeah, no, and you guys have showed me the platform, and I definitely see what the value is, because one of the challenges I always had in this industry is like the folder, right? There's always these folders that everyone has, and it's like, we need the folder. And I think at least the pandemic fast forwarded folders. We're now in, maybe it's e-sig, but even I never really have been on the buy side or sell side. So some of those pain points that you guys were telling me about at the funding conference,
right,
couldn't relate. I've been a service provider, right? But now that I understand exactly what you guys are doing, it's like, instead of this whole rigmarole runaround manual process, it's point and click.
Yeah, essentially, right? I mean, because the way most of the people we talk to today conduct business when they syndicate is literally by doing things via email. So you're that buyer, I'm the syndicator. I reach out, I've got these great partnerships, because one thing Syndifi is not, Jesse, that I'll state, is we're not a marketplace. Right. So we weren't created to bring buyers and sellers together and give that syndicator a forum where he or she could come in, push out their deals, and our 300 buyers could bid on those or take a look at those. Not the case, because when we did the surveying of what's needed out there, it was a resounding no, we don't need a marketplace. We've got our partners. We know who we're dealing with. We like our partners. We just need something more secure, efficient, and really smarter to transact. So Syndifi takes that whole process of emails and attaching files and worrying about security issues with sensitive information flying back and forth, and it centralizes it into one single source that's secure, efficient, where somebody can come in as a syndicator, create their deal, put it up on our platform, digitize it, upload all their documents to Syndifi safely, securely with the click of a button, and share those and invite whom they want to in the platform, because they're adding all their buyers into Syndifi. And they've got this roster of top buyers that they like to deal with, and they invite them, and they've got communication, there's messaging. It's literally just transforming how things are done.
Well, that's fantastic. Definitely streamlines the process for sure. It makes it a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
So almost what, year in business, 2 years? How long have you been with them again?
Yeah. So Syndifi's been around for about 2 years, and
Okay.
we're at the point now where we're really viable with our platform, and we have great users on there. You've got the likes of Element, Cortec, Nexier, 36th Street Capital, Mitsubishi, right? A lot of great, phenomenal users from the sell side, and tons of users as well on the buy side as well, benefiting from the platform. And so this is year two, really, if you will, and year one, maybe 1.5, where the product is just really rocking and rolling and delivering some good things. And with an asterisk, there is no perfect technology, right? So Syndifi is not claiming to be this perfect technology that never has any problem.
I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, I sold
Yeah, I know,
software for
right.
10. I sold software for 10 years. It was perfect. Anything can be done with time and money, right? I mean,
I'm
come on.
preaching to the choir. Preaching to the choir. I know that. So, but the cool thing is about Syndifi, one, it's really nimble. It's a small organization, and really with Dan at the helm and with us having the ability to, the two of us in our team, we can really just navigate, pivot, and move and make changes, make improvements. Because one of the things we ask is, hey, when you test drive, give us your thoughts. If there's something missing, tell us about it, because if it's good for you, it's likely going to transcend and be good for somebody else.
That's nail on the head there. So how many people are on your team now?
So with developers, we're probably upwards of, I would say 16 to 20 at any given time.
And are you like, from a location perspective, like, where are you guys at?
Chicago's our headquarters. I'm based here in the Finger Lakes region, Syracuse, if you will. And then we're looking at bringing on another office and expanding Chicago. That'll be probably our main base, if you will.
If I had my choice, it would be the Finger Lakes, because being from upstate New York, I mean, come on, why not?
Look, it's the 2 weeks of summer we get up here are phenomenal. Okay, right? When I get that boat, I'll have to call you like a month in advance, because it's a really small window that we can use it. But the Finger Lakes are gorgeous. The lakes up here are just pristine. And anybody who comes up to our region, Jesse, they fall in love with it. I mean, the wine.
Well, and the best part is, though, is the lakes are 50 degrees all year round. It doesn't matter if it's like February or August.
That's right. That's right.
Still bitter cold. You're just like, made a bad choice.
Yeah, exactly. Who lives
yeah, right. So I'm just trying to think. So relatively new software doesn't happen all the time in any industry, let alone equipment finance, right? So I guess, what are some of the pros and cons, Al, in regards to what you guys are dealing with in regards to launching something new? Because traditionally this industry isn't really progressive when it comes to technology. I mean, you see some of the systems that people are still on, or like I mentioned, the magical folder, or even when I was on the sell side or software side, people still using Excel and T-value to run their business. Yeah. So if you want to just kind of get into that.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. What I've experienced when I'm talking to people and really trying to sort of walk a step or two in their shoes, right? Because I've always been taught at a young age, like, step into people's shoes if you can, walk a step or two, figure out what's going on in their minds and what their life is like. So with this industry, change has been a challenge to sort of forward through the industry, right? It's a bit change resistant. We did a live stream on that with the Monitor probably a couple months ago, because I experienced that personally. People are like, yeah, I like it, makes sense, but we may not use it. It may not be right for us. We kind of like doing things the way we like to do things because we're comfortable, right? So as you know, Jesse, in any business, you kind of got to get uncomfortable, right? And with Syndifi, it makes some people who have their traditional practices a little uncomfortable to bring in a piece of technology, right? To try to do things a different way. But when we sort of kind of break down the wall, if you will, of resistance and sort of shed the light on the reality of, look, at the end of the day, Syndifi is going to make life so much better for your organization, and the buyer's experience is going to be stellar, right? You're taking a buyer who is now looking at 10, 15 emails, multiple PDFs, and trying to communicate back and forth with you via this. Especially, let's imagine you're sending 4 deals to that same buyer. She now has 50 emails they're finning through, several documents, it's just a nightmare. So we try to express to them that look, we want to make your life easier. We're here to make your business grow. We're here to make you grow within the company. This isn't a technology that's here to sort of, you know, disassemble organizations and the individuals who work there. It's to empower and give them a tool that's easy to use. You saw it. It's super simple. There's no driver's manual needed. And what we find is when they get in it, when they get on it, not only do the buyers love it, but the syndicator comes back to us and says, you know what, this is wicked easy. I can track everything. I can see exactly whose deals went out. I can message people. It pushes it over to my emails. My buyers love it because if they've got 3 or 4 people in their company that they want to gain access to the same deal, me as the syndicator, I'm not pushing out that same email to the ops person, the legal person, the credit person. It's all working through Syndifi. So once they kind of take down the wall a little bit and perhaps think a little less myopically and sort of think, hey, you know what, what's the end game for our company? More efficiency, processes that are more streamlined, secure things that we're doing, make it better, and let's leverage a technology that exists and work smarter. So yes, resistance. Once they sort of let down their guard a bit, they really like it. So I'll say it like that.
Yeah, I think it's that fear of change or fear of the unknown, or more importantly, it's like, well, that's what I do all day. Like if there's a tool to make it better, then what am I going to be doing? And at the end of the day, like organizations aren't looking to cut you because they're looking to say, okay, well, no, now you can just be more efficient and get more done, or hey, check this out too. And that's unfortunately the mindset that I've been battling with as a service provider for, I don't know, 17 years in the industry.
Sure. I mean, when they sort of work globally at it and realize that it's a tool that's going to empower and really make them a hero, whoever that person is in charge of the syndications for their company, why wouldn't you want to take a tool that can streamline things, make things more secure, make it much more efficient? And like you mentioned, the Excel and the data tapes, when people looking at portfolios and pools, I mean, to think that a buyer has to look at an Excel spreadsheet and a data tape to look at a multi-million-dollar decision is ludicrous, right? So Syndifi has fixed that with the pools, deal pools that we've created within Syndifi, where you can literally see all the KPIs, all the analytics on your deal pool in a snapshot, right? So we've got the PayNet score, the APT score, all the necessary information that seller wants to convey to the buyer in a really good digital format and presentation. Who wouldn't want that, right? So it's when you get off of that old way of doing things, initially it's hard. When you get off, you look back and you say, how did I live like that? With respect to how did I conduct business like that? So that's what we're finding. And you know, the unknown, the fear of the unknown is huge. But we try to really walk with them, be right there with them, and that's what we're trying to do, man. Make some change, transform.
So from an ease of use perspective, obviously I've seen the tool. It's really easy, but from an integration perspective, how are you guys making out with traction with the software organizations? Is this something you're eventually just going to embed, or will it be a hyperlink? Or is this something that I need to have single sign-on for, or do I need to have different credentials?
No, great questions. Great questions. So we're fully integrated with Salesforce. So that makes life a lot easier for those who are using Salesforce, right? So gone are the days of the duplicative nature of, you know, re-entering information. So you can literally come into our platform or initially start with Salesforce, enter your information in your deals, click the submit to Syndifi, pushes all that data over into the deal snapshot. We're looking at integrating with leasing software organizations, lease accounting software groups, right? Because for the pool side of the house, imagine if a syndicator utilizing a really reputable lease software accounting system could go in, pick all the deals they want to basically portfolio and sell, put into a pool, click a button, it pushes them to Syndifi into the deal pool snapshot that we have on the platform. So we're working on integrations like that. And really there's no integration we won't consider. And like we talked about, we move quickly. So when we approach or an organization approaches us to syndicate, it happens quick. We assess it, we whiteboard it, we figure out what makes good sense, what's the end game going to be to benefit the value to the client. And if it makes good sense, man, we're all in, right? We're going to do this because we want to build the product out there for equipment finance syndication.
No, I just, I'm curious sometimes, and we won't get into names, we're not going down that rabbit hole, but certain software organizations, when you sit there and you pitch it to them, I wonder in their head if they're thinking, I wonder what this would take for us to build this. Like, why don't we just do this ourselves? Why am I going to let this guy in here? Like, but that's just but that's the arrogance of software companies in general. But regardless, that's just something in my mind.
No, it's look, it's a fair thought, right? It's everybody thinks they can do a lot of things, right? We'll leave it at that. So the way I look at it is, why wouldn't you utilize a platform that's already built, right? By a person who's got a stellar track record in the industry, who's already transformed and changed the industry. It's not sort of some unknown coming in, sort of developing a platform. Dan's got the pedigree and has the history to say, I've done this, and you'll never meet a more humble guy. I mean, he is literally the most humble guy. He's the quintessential, happy, genuine, authentic Midwestern guy I've ever met. Honestly, it's great working with him because he's just so open-minded. And when you look at our platform and you look at companies that might think, maybe we can do this, we say, it's okay, go ahead and try that. But why? At the end of the day, if it's already built, it's economically suitable, it makes good sense, and you've got a company that's already building it and that's willing to collaborate and to integrate and to do all the things that are going to make your platform better. So we get it. There's equipment finance companies who want to build their own platform, or they're in the process of doing it, right? And I say, you guys are an equipment finance company. Really do what you specialize in and do it well. Yes, feel free to try to build it, but we've already got it built. Why would you want to go through the undertaking of a SOC 2 report? Why would you want to go through the servicing that has to happen with a platform, with the issues that are going to arise with a platform? The all the things that are just happen with technology, right? We both know. So we always try to say, that's great that you've got ideas that you're building things, but why wouldn't you want to just use something that exists and ramp your business up and be part of the evolution of this industry? And we'll take your ideas, we'll put them in place here. And we've done that with so many of our syndicators. Literally a third of the functionality that we have on Syndifi since I've been here have been ideas that have come from users, syndicators, that we put in place that now everybody's benefiting from. So, but yeah, you're right. We get it. We're open-minded to it. We just try to say, hey, give us a shot, and you're probably going to change your mind about trying to build it yourself because it already exists.
Outsourcing 101, man.
Yeah,
it's like, why go recreate the wheel when it's already created? Integrate into it, focus on your core competency, and let's move on. And at the end of the day, give the customers a good experience.
That's right. 100%. 100%. And that's what it's about. It's that syndication ecosystem that we're trying to really make more efficient and more successful. And when you have buyers coming to us saying, we only want to deal with syndicators that are on Syndifi because our lives have really gotten a lot easier and we really like the way the process works, that really says something, right? That's almost greater than a syndicator's testimonial about Syndifi when you get a buyer saying, we only want to deal with syndicators who are on Syndifi, because the experience we've had with the several buyers, the syndicators that are on Syndifi, it's been really positive for us. So.
All right, so I have a sales question for you.
Yeah.
When you're making phone calls into organizations that you don't know, and you're like, hi, my name is Al Canal, I'm with Syndifi. What are your response when they're like, well, who are you? Like, what the H is Syndifi? Like how is, because I just remember like my first go round in this industry was 2005. And I was working for a company called OSG, and there's an OSG tax, but this was OSG billing. And you sit there when you look at a prospect list. Luckily, Dan's been in the industry, so he can pretty much tell. But like, I could make 1,000 phone calls, and 950 of those were brokers.
No doubt.
Obviously, maybe not a good fit for software like this. So, just walk me through that if you don't mind.
It's a great question, right? Because especially if you don't have a brand, a personal brand in this industry, which I don't, right? So the brand I leverage is Dan's, right? He's got the pedigree. He founded PayNet. It's a solid product. People like it. They know it. But it's all about the tenacity, right? To stick with it, to convey the message, the passion. Do you believe in what you're trying to do? Right? Because Dan and I are both doing this because we really believe in what this is trying to do, right? We're not, absolutely. It's not 30 years ago where we're trying to do it for different reasons. We're here to transform the industry. So if I can get the moment of time on the phone with them, you ask the bold questions. You ask the questions that most people don't want to ask, where it's with respect to, so you're telling me that you really don't want to improve your processes and you're content pushing out 10 to 15 emails unsecurely and having to do it again, perhaps 2 or 3 more times to other folks in the organization. What kind of time does that take you? So if you can tell me that you're not willing to think kind of open-mindedly and take a look at something that could make things better, that's a challenge for me. You know what I mean? So I don't know why anybody wouldn't be, but it's all about cascading the proper message, having the purpose, the value prop, right? Are we really
Yep.
making things better? We are, right? When you have that solution that's cost effective and it's making life a lot better for both parties, and it just improves the way things are happening, you've got something to talk about, and you've got something I think piques people's interest. So that's sort of my approach. It's as genuine as it can be. It's authentic. It's just keeping it real.
Yeah, and the one thing just in watching you guys on LinkedIn and just like whoever's in charge of your marketing, kudos to them, because it's spot on and to the point where it's like, okay, here's is it next year capital?
Yeah.
Here's what the product did for him, video testimonial, written things.
Right.
So if I'm just scrolling through LinkedIn and doing it, it catches your eye. It's short, it's sweet, to the point. You build your value prop and then you move on.
Yeah,
So
thank you. I appreciate that feedback. As we strategize and talk about what kind of messaging do we create, it's important, right? Because you never want to become that white noise. You never want to become that sort of continuation of the same thing. So for us, it's getting candid and genuine with our users, and really trying to figure out, what did we do here? What was the overall cycle of what we did for you, and how did it work? So I'm glad you like that. That's great.
Well, that, and also, so now you probably have a half dozen customers.
No, more than that, close to a dozen.
So a dozen.
We've eclipsed a dozen right now. Yeah, people who are actually on the platform syndicating. And as far as the buy side, we've got over 300 buyers, which were all invited, by the way, by all the syndicators, which is really cool when you think about that, right? So it's just this.
Oh, especially because they could eventually be another customer on the other side, which is 100%. Fantastic. So
yeah, 100%. And we're always standing at the ready, waiting for that when they're ready. So we've always convey that communication to the buyer when the time is right. We're here for you to help you syndicate too, because you're right, a lot of them do both.
So you just need a little pop-up in the bottom right-hand corner of your platform with your face and say, "You ready?" Click a little button.
Let's do this. Right, the button language on there that I put in there is, "Let's do this." Why not? Honestly, what are we waiting for?
Why not?
Take a test drive, try the product. It's phenomenal. Seriously, like, what do you have? I tell people, like, so you're hesitant about a test drive, but why? You're testing it. It's no cost to you. You're going to get to put 2-3 deals through it and feel it out, see how it works. So, but yeah, man.
Well, perfect. Well, I ask everyone out who comes on here to give a little fun fact about themselves. Anything you'd like to share with the audience here?
Fun fact. Well, we can go down a couple different lanes on that one. A couple different lanes.
Besides your dancing skills, which I saw on display in SoCal.
Good times. We'll go with that. Well, you teed me up for that. That's fine. You just prompted my memory here. So one fun fact is, I used to be in the entertainment business.
Okay.
A long time ago. And I had the good fortune of being in the right place at the right time. And I ended up being on a dance show contracted for 3 years called Club MTV. And it was a blast. And I got to tell you, Jess, it was one of the greatest times of my life. And it led to a lot of fun stuff that I never expected. Commercials, and I appeared in a handful of music videos for people like Salt and Pepper. And it was an absolute.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna have to look up some of these photos, and I might have to drop them after this.
No. If that's the case, let me send you one that I'm okay with. All right. Let me send you one, please. Yeah, man.
Perfect.
So it was good times. Good times.
I just picture jeans, an A shirt, and that's it. Rocking and rolling.
Yeah, dude, lots of crazy styles back then. I don't think I've kept any of those outfits, nor would I admit to ever wearing them. I would deny it if somebody said, "This is you." I'd say, "No, it's not." To pay somebody to see. Yeah, man, that's what we got.
Well, perfect. So I guess at the end of the day, why do business with Syndifi?
At the end of the day, I would say you've got a really solid team that cares about transforming the industry, a team that wants your feedback, a team that wants to partner with you, and that wants to listen to you and really try to create the absolute best platform, right? And I think when you have an organization like that, doing it for the reasons we're doing it, I don't really think you can go wrong giving an organization like Syndifi a closer look and trusting us to at least kind of dive in a little bit and explore the product with us. And more importantly, give us the opportunity to learn more about you, because Syndifi is not a fit for everybody, right? And that's okay. But we want to make sure that we're connecting with everybody who may have need to leverage and benefit from this product. And if you are syndicating and you want a more efficient way to do it and more secure way to do it and a more robust way to do it, that's going to provide really this single source solution, CRM, messaging, security, efficiencies. Syndifi is a great solution for people out there, equipment finance companies. So we would love the opportunity to talk to anybody, man. And we'd love the feedback, quite candidly, even if there's no interest in collaborating with us on a business level and using our product. We'd love the feedback. We're trying to change the marketplace here and really make it better. So feedback to us is paramount.
Well, excellent, Al. Well, thanks again for your time today, man. It's always a pleasure catching up with you. I've enjoyed learning more, and look forward to seeing you here in the next couple of months at an upcoming leasing event, I'm pretty sure.
It'd be great. We'll be there. We'll see you soon.
Okay, Jesse, sounds great, man.
All right, man. Take care.
Have a good one.
Yeah,
all right, bye.
Take care.